What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV. In today's video, we're looking at weapon variants in Call of Duty World War II acting out, in particular the launchers, and I'll also be providing you guys with some info on those launcher camouflage challenges, how to get your 100 score streak kills a little easier, my preferred maps and modes and what have you. But for a little context, today's video is mostly an expansion on yesterday's video where I talked specifically about the Panzerschreck camouflage challenges. So I'll link that video in the description down below. It's really in your best interest to watch that one first. I'll explain it briefly in this video, but I don't want you guys to get lost in translation, so to speak. So it's really better if you watch that video before you watch this one. Really, it's in your best interest overall to subscribe to BlackTideTV and turn on your notifications so you never miss a daily upload. I upload every single day, always Call of Duty World War II. I'm pretty much 100% Call of Duty now. So if you're enjoying today's video and you haven't subscribed yet or you haven't turned on your notifications yet, pretty much every video is going to be very, very similar to this. So if you're enjoying it, you're likely going to enjoy the other videos. And it's better if you watch them all in a row. So without further ado, today we're talking about those launchers yet again, those pesky, pesky launchers. In yesterday's video, I talked about the Panzerschreck and how terrible it is and how impossible the challenge is going to be to destroy 100 score streaks with the Panzerschreck because I was using the variant. And apparently I was misinformed. There is some kind of glitch going around with the variants of the Panzerschreck. I'm not sure if it's all variants. I was using the Thunderclap variant, which I believe it comes from the collection. The one that you actually have to purchase all of the items or find all of the items in supply drops, and you can buy it from the super smoking hot collection lady. That's the one that I have, and I was using that because it looks a million times better than the banged up old brown rusty Panzer. It's like a gold and black, and I'm like, oh man, this looks so good. Using that thing, and the rocket it spirals out of control. It's like a roller coaster every time you shoot it. It's just like, I don't even know. I can't even explain it. No pattern whatsoever to how that thing fires off. And Duho GT, I hope I'm saying that right, let me know in my comment section yesterday, so shout out to him. That's only with the variants. I'm not sure if it applies to the stovepipe variant or whatever other variants there are of the Panzer, but apparently, especially with the Thunderclap variant, the rocket is busted and it won't fly straight. So I had never actually used the base Panzer because I got the Thunderclap before I ever needed to use the Panzer. So I switched to the Panzer and I found out, sure enough, that the rocket flies straight. In fact, the way that the regular Panzer works is kind of even more interesting than the Thunderclap because it fires, if you fire straight up into the air at a UAV or whatever have you, like a score streak, it'll fly straight towards them. But if you fire it on the ground, if you're standing at ground level and you're shooting it at infantry, it'll spiral and go out of control. So I don't know how those mechanics work, but apparently they didn't translate over to the Thunderclap variant. And my major concern here, we're going to get into launchers a little bit more in a second, but my major concern here with this variant is that why would a variant completely change? I know it's just a bug. I know it's a glitch or whatever in the game code, but that just kind of propels my situation. Why is the game code different for a different variant than it is for the base weapon? Should the game code not be the same with just simple identity modifiers or whatever to make it look a little bit different? Because that's all that really changes, is it looks different. So I don't know why there is code written into the game that changes the way that a weapon works when you're using a variant, because variants in this game are not supposed to adjust how a weapon works, only how it looks. And they've already kind of broken this rule by changing the iron sights on a lot of weapons. You'll notice a lot of weapons have different iron sights with their variants. And believe it or not, iron sights actually make a huge, huge difference. Take the WAF right here. I know it's the Waffe, but I'm going to call it the WAF because I'm not German. Take the WAF that I'm using in today's gameplay. I despise the regular iron sights on it to the point that I can't even use the weapon. But when I'm using the whatever variant this is, the collections variant again, I love this weapon. I'm like going off with this weapon in most of my games. Not this game, clearly, because I'm too busy shooting down UAVs. But I'm actually having a really good time using these iron sights. It completely changes my opinion of the weapon. So iron sights alone are a big enough change. But I'm just thinking, if this launcher is changed, what about all of the other hundreds of variants that are in this game? Are there some variants out there that have small little tweaks to the game code that are broken in some way that might be way better or way worse, or like more shots to kill, less shots to kill, higher rapid fire? Like, I don't know how the code got changed from a straight firing rocket when shooting up into the sky and a spiraling rocket when shooting on the ground to just spiraling and flying out of control at all times. It's just kind of concerning to me. So I'm kind of just very worried about the variants in this game now. So just be cautious when you're using your variants. If you switch to a variant and you find that it's not doing as well as the base version of that weapon, please let me know in the comment section of this video or whatever video, or you can tweet at me on Twitter, because I'd love to know. I'd love to test these things out and see if the variants are actually changing the weapons. Like, did they lie to us and they actually built in certain variants that will change things? Is it just a glitch? I'm hoping, and I'm pretty well, like, I'm on board with it's just a glitch, but I'm interested in how the glitch happened. But without further ado, the M1 Bazooka Eagle's Nest, which is also the collection variant, is not affected. So the M1 Bazooka still fires straight, and the M1 Bazooka Eagle's Nest, I tested that one, it fires the exact same way as the regular M1 Bazooka. The difference now between the Panzer and the Bazooka, because before I thought the Bazooka was the straight firing one and the Panzer was the crazy one, the Panzer fires straight when you're shooting up in the air, and if you're kind of aiming towards a UAV but not directly at a UAV, it'll fly straight for quite some time and then it'll veer off, whereas the Bazooka I find just flies straight all the time. I would also say that the velocity of the rocket seems faster with the Panzer. I'm not sure if that is 100% accurate, but it definitely seems like the Panzer rocket flies faster, because I seem to be able to shoot the rocket from the Panzer closer to a UAV or closer to a score streak to kill it, whereas the M1 Bazooka, I have to space it out a little bit. I have to lead my target a little bit more. But there's your first tip on taking down some score streaks. You're going to have to lead your targets. However, I will give you this one little hint. UAVs and other score streaks are not as far away from you as they seem. I see a lot of people leading their target by like a good few inches of TV screen or whatever. That's crazy. You don't have to actually lead your target in most situations by that much, especially if you're directly under it. You can pretty much put your reticle directly in front of the UAV and you will get it. That is if you're directly under it on certain maps, because on certain maps the streaks fly at certain levels, and that's why I've given you a couple of my preferred maps in today's video. I'll be giving those to you. And then, of course, you're going to want to play in specific modes as well, so that more UAVs are popping up. I think that's the most stressful part of shooting down UAVs and shooting down score streaks, is waiting for the streaks to actually happen. So you do not want to play Domination, because Domination kills only get you 50 points, so you're not going to see as many streaks anymore. But first up, the maps: U.S.S. Texas, Gibraltar, Gustav Cannon, and Flak Tower maybe. So the first three, U.S.S. Texas is the absolute best map in my opinion for shooting down streaks. The streaks are very close, it's very wide open. Gibraltar, same thing, it's very wide open. Blue skies, so you can see where the streaks are in the sky. A lot of these maps have clouds and stuff and you can't really see too well. You've got your Gustav Cannon, which is again blue skies, wide open, very easy to shoot down streaks. And Flak Tower, I said maybe because the sky's a little darker, it's harder to see the UAVs, but they do fly pretty close because you're up on this ginormous Flak Tower. In terms of modes, you want any kind of mode where you're going to get 100 points per kill. That includes hardpoint, which is my preferred game mode because so many people play hardpoint. That's where all the sweaty tryhards go. That's where you're going to see the maximum amount of UAVs go up in a single game. CTF is pretty good as well, but CTF, you do have that respawn delay, so if you miss your rockets, you're going to be screwed. TDM is good as well, but not as many people are going to be using UAVs there. People think that they're pretty great when they're playing Team Deathmatch. And Free-For-All, I actually found Free-For-All to be very, very good as well. But that is it for today's video, guys. Just a couple quick tips and just talking about the variants. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And the Astro Gaming giveaway. Have you spotted the Astro logo? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.